Hi, this is Ina from the InDe'B quilt shop, and I have a beautiful quilt to show you today. This one is called Flowers Through the Lattice by Sew and Quilt. And these are all the fabrics that come in your kit. You can use these fabrics as you're trying to decide where they're supposed to go, what's supposed to be used where, and how to put it all together. So this quilt, I loved it. I love this little centerpiece here, and I just love the whole shape of it. But as I look closer, I realized you're doing a lot of Drunkards Path curves. And I don't know about you, but those have always been like, oh my gosh, I don't think I want to do curves. But I'm going to share all my tips and tricks with you today so that you can see how you can make this successfully. It is not, I'm going to show you some of these blocks. Know that this is not a beginner quilt. I would never put a beginner in with this. I would say this is an intermediate advanced to an advanced quilt. But those are just some of them. So let me show you some things that you need to know about this quilt. It comes with these clear pieces like this. You want to take them and put them in your computer and make a copy of them so you get a paper copy of, like this piece right here. There it goes. And which is not a piece I even used, but there you go. Okay. And then you want to take them and you want to take those papers that you have copied, from this Drunkards Path, and you want to put them on the little cardboards that come with your 5-inch squares or your 10-inch squares. Let's talk about some of these pieces. Okay. This is just your basic Drunkards Path that has the square and the rounded area. And then you have these two pieces that basically are the pieces that you sew together on this one right here, okay? You'll notice that on this one, it says, let me zoom in a little bit closer so you can see that. It has an extra 1/4 inch. This one does not. Use this one. You'll thank me later, okay? It just is really helpful. So those are the two pieces I used. And there's also then the orange pill. Now, one of the things you want to know about the orange pill is that it has this line on it. This line is your straight of grain. And what that means is this. You're going to put it on your fabric so that this line right here lines up parallel to the selvage, or it lines up parallel to the cut edge. Okay, those are your two grains. And the reason that you want to do that and line it up and make sure you're parallel to that as you're cutting this out is this is going to give you a true bias, and you're going to get the right stretch everywhere you need along that circle, okay? Also, to cut out, you're going to need these tools, okay? So you have two bigger ones. You got a 60 millimeter, 45 millimeter, and this, believe it or not, is a 14 millimeter. It doesn't matter which of these you use. These are going to be used to cut out all the outside pieces like this. And also on your Drunkards Path, all of those pieces can be cut out with that. And when you get to this one, you're going to use to cut out the straight edges. But on this curve, you need a really small blade, smaller than a 45. And you want to use something like this, okay, that has a really tiny little blade on it. So in comparison to the size, that's how small it is compared to that one. There is another one that I think is like an 18 millimeter or whatever, but this is what I had on hand. This is called the Shark Applicator. And the only place that I can find it was at Missouri Star Quilt Company or on Amazon, okay? And you can get replacement blades on either place either. So this is what I use. It's an amazing tool and very, very sharp. And it's designed by Robert Pell of Man Sewing, okay? So let me show you how to use this one. We're going to cut some, this. And whenever you cut, always do 4 layers deep, because that's how the pattern is. You need 4 of this and 4 of this and 4 of that. So you need 4 hours deep. So we're going to start this one off by, I'm going to cut these. I think I can get that if I do that. Line it up pretty close on there. Sorry if I'm bumping the camera. And this is where this rotating mat really comes in handy, because you can move that a little more to the center. Okay. All of those. And then I'm going to use this little blade. And you're just going to go really tightly inside of this. And my estimate also is that if you're not really tight with it, it's okay, because you're going to square up after. There we go. Okay. So now we've got that piece cut. So for your blocks, you're going to have some like this, some like this. These are going to go with those, and these are going to go with that. And that makes up the bigger portions of your block. So let's show how to pin some of these together. Okay. So one of the easiest things that you can do, let me see if I can pull this down a little bit tighter here. When we're pinning this one to your white pieces, I'm going to pull one of these up, and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to press it right here. It's just my finger. And just the heat from my finger is going to give me that little indentation. Did you see that in there? Okay, I'm going to pull one of these and fold it in half. And if you can figure out where the right side is on these, then do that. If you can't, it's really not that big a deal. It's pretty much the same both sides. Okay, then I'm going to take both of these indentations. There's that one, there's this one, and I'm going to line them up so they line up together, and I'm going to put a pin in the middle of this. Then I'm going to come around to here, and I'm going to line up those straight edges right there, and use my thumb to kind of hold it in place, and then I'm going to just do a big pin. Take a deeper whatever pin to hold in place. Then this one, I'm going to line these two up. But this one is the one that kind of gets a little wonky at the very end. And so I want it to have a little bit more stability, and I don't want it to twist on me at all as I'm sewing it. So I'm going to put in like 3 stitches, you know, and do it like that. So that's what you do. Just 3 pins, that's all you need. And it doesn't matter how big this is, you only need 3, okay? So now we're going to do this one. And we do the same thing with this orange peel, the center of the flower, do the same thing, press it so that you get that indentation there. And I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to do this with the right sides together. So whenever you're doing these, they are right sides together. And okay, I'm going to do this one because I'm not sure what happened to that one. I might have to recut that one. We're going to do right sides together. And again, do that, and then you can see those 2 indentations. We're just going to line them right up together, put a pin in, and then you're going to take it around, and you're going to pin it on this side. Okay? Now, when I'm pinning these together, there's an easy way to remember which side goes down, which side goes up, okay? And I will show you that in just a second. Because it does make a huge difference, okay? So there we have that one. It's all pinned, 3 pins, okay? So what you want to remember is you've got these pieces that go out. You got this one that goes out. You have this one that goes out. This one is the belly button. Think of a little toddler's belly. Their bellies always like stick out very, very round. And then you've got this one, which is what we call the cookie bite. This is where the cookie is biting in. Your cookie bite is the one that needs to go on top, because it is the one that's going to stretch more to go around. These do not really stretch that much. You know, they just, you know, when you're looking at them, they don't stretch as much compared to how much these stretch. These will go almost to a straight line. So it's really important that these are on top. This is on the bottom. This is on your dog feed. This is on the needle side when you put those together. Okay? Now, I have one of the round ones that I've already done. Okay? And I am going to need to put the other side of it because this one has one side, this one, and one another side. So that it's kind of sandwiched in. If you can see that on this one right here, you can see how it has that on both sides, makes up that square there, okay? Whereas this one just only has a round piece and the white, and you're good. So you start off and you'll have a piece like this, okay? You're going to want to take it and press away from the orange peel on this piece. You press differently on the other ones, but you want to take this and put this together, and you want to make sure that you're lining up so that this edge right here is lining up with this edge right there. So I just look at it sideways, kind of like a little sandwich thing, to make sure I've lined that all the way up. And then I'm just going to put in another finger press to get my crease that's there. Then I'm going to take my other piece and I'm going to press it here and get my crease. And again, line up the creases and put a pin in. Okay. Then over here, this part, you're not going to line it up with this edge. You're going to line it up with that edge. So I just kind of like look and see if I can see where it's at and make sure I've lined it up so that you can see that it's lined up with the other edge. And again, I'm going to just put in a big pin. This side, same thing. I'm going to line it up with the white edge underneath. So I'm going to put it in. Can you see that, how they're lined up together there? Might need to adjust that a little deeper there. And then I'm going to do, and you want to make sure that it's squared with that side, okay? Because it has a tendency to want to, you know, slide out farther. And then I'm going to just give myself, again, a little bit more of a tighter pin. So we're like this, okay? Now we're going to sew these. So let me move you over here to my sewing machine. It's going to take me a minute to get you set up here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. I just want you to have a really good I wish there was an easier way to do this, but sometimes there's just not. Okay, so we're gonna sew this. All you're gonna need to sew this with is one of these. This is a stylist. It has a pointy edge here. This one is by Clover. You can get them. I'm sure you'll probably already have one, but they're really good. They're like your extra fingers when you're actually sewing, and can get close to the needle. Okay, let me just line this up a little bit better. It really does make a difference to have you start off really good. Okay, I'm gonna just put this under. Got my pin cushion. Put these back in. Okay, and I'm just gonna use the stylus and kind of my finger out here to just kind of lay this fabric out flat. It just has to be flat right underneath the needle. It can go wonky and willy everywhere else, but you want it to be just very flat all the way through that, okay? I'm not gonna sew over the pin. I'm going to pull that out. I'm gonna see where my fabric is at and just kind of pull everything back. And I know sometimes you think, well, that's just not gonna happen. Okay, so this is where you have to watch out a little bit more because it's gonna start to get little wrinkles in it. So this is where if you have a knee pedal, you'll find that to be just invaluable, just really helpful. I'm gonna go a few more stitches. Okay, then I'm gonna pull that back out of the way and continue. Now this one, I'm gonna sew very carefully over that pin. But I'm going to do it in such a way that it's not going to damage my needle. Well, there you go. Okay. You might even want to hand turn as you go over that one. Let's sew this one where you're sewing the orange pill, the outside to the orange pill. Okay. And again, just hold in place. I know there's, if you go look on people and how to sew Drunkards Path, some people do it without any pins. Some people do it with a flat, what do they call that? A flat tweezer instead of a pointy or otherwise tweezer. I just find the stylus is what works the best for me. So that's what you have to do, is just practice until you find what works the best for you, okay? And just make sure that right under where you're sewing, that needs to be the flat part. If it's not, if you see wrinkles coming up, you're going to want to stop, readjust the fabric, put it down. And again, just carefully, all the way through, okay? And then we're just gonna sew that other half of the orange pill, the other side of it, so you can see how that looks. Okay. And it really doesn't take that much to do that. You just go slow, take your time, use the stylus, adjust the fabric as needed. It's not a quilt that you can put together really, really fast, but you can do it so that it turns out just right every single time. Okay, trying to push some of those to the back so I don't get any wrinkles. Gonna have to adjust when I get up here. Okay, get all the way off. All right, we have also, you want to do some finger pressing. The orange pills, remember, you want to just press them to the outside. So the orange pill itself is all flat. Just use your nail or, a finger. You don't want to stretch this out. You just want to like press it out to the outside. Same thing with this one when you're finishing up the second half. Just press it to the outside, there. And then this one, you're gonna do the opposite. You're gonna press it under so that it's gonna be going this direction toward that Drunkards Path piece. Just enough to kind of get them flat. And then you're going to finish pressing them with an iron. And it's not like an ironing, you're just pressing. You're actually just putting them down and pressing. Okay, so I just quickly did that, and so this is what you'll see. So it looks like this. Let me quickly press these other two pieces so you can see how they look when they're finished. And here you have a finished orange pill. This is the first half of it. And again, you would turn it around and put on the other half. But we're just gonna work with these two. Okay, so let me take you back over here to my cutting mat. And we are going to square these up. Now, when you square them up, she did give you in these. You could do something like this if you wanted to, because it kind of tells you like how to square it up and what to do, and you put it on. But I have found trying to cut against something that's just as flimsy as this does not work for me when I'm using a ruler, okay? So instead, I'm gonna show you these two rulers, okay? This is a 3.5 ruler by Lori Holt, and it's her square up rulers because it has a 1/4 inch all the way around, has 2 lines all the way in, helps you to square up your block in any direction, okay? So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to use the solid line, and I'm going to put this solid line right here, this little corner right there, as close as I can to there, if not just right above it. Same thing, the one on the bottom, okay? So, sorry, I forgot to put my cap back on that one. I'm going to line that up there, there. And it always does go over just a hair. You're going to find that you will find what yours is, like, because maybe your 1/4 inch is a little bit smaller or it might be a little bit bigger than mine is. So it's going to look different. And we're just going to square up because you don't want to have this. See how it has this little notch right here down here? You don't want that notch. And then just keeping my hands on here, I'm just going to rotate around each side till I have a perfectly squared up orange peel. Okay, now I want you to see what I cut off. See how we have skinny and then bigger? Some of these are, you know, pretty even, some whatever there. So that's what I really love about squaring up, because now I know I have a 3.5 inch squared block. Okay, let's get rid of those. So let's do this one. This one, I'm going to use this time this 3.5 inch creative grids. And one of the things that I like about it when squaring up this particular block is that it has a 1/4 inch seam allowance right there. There's also a 1/2 inch, you know, if you're working with that, but I'm going to use a 1/4 inch. More specifically, this line right there and this line right there, okay, where the two intersect. And I'm going to put it on my Drunkards Path right here. And I'm going to do my best to line up those two places right there and make sure I lined it pretty good. Okay, I haven't had a little excess here. So now this is where I'm going to cut off that excess. Again, keeping my hand on here to keep it in place. And you're not going to take off much off the bottom, just a hair, you know, sometimes even just a few threads. And that little bit, okay? So there we have it, our 3.5 inch Drunkards Path. Now this is what I want you to see. This is why it's really important to do that extra 1/4 inch, because this is what you're cutting off. Even with these, this is what you're cutting off because you did that extra 1/4 inch. It gives you a little bit of fudge room, because look how skinny this is and then really big there. But when you look at this, you would never know that that's how I done it. It just looks perfectly squared up, and that's how you want them to be. And then you just follow the pattern and you put them all together until you have your gorgeous quilt block put together like this, with your sashing and your cornerstone and your the corner blocks right here too, that 4 patch that's there. Don't forget, when you do your 4 patch, you want to iron it so that you can actually see your 4 patch. You notice how all the seams are going the same direction. You'll start with 2 of them, you know, and it seems like one is all the way down, all the way back, whatever. But anyway, if you just keep making sure all the seams go around in a corner, and it will end up with this little plus sign on the back. It's like a little mini 4 patch. Then you've got it right. And you'll end up with beautiful blocks just like this. So I hope that you enjoy this kit and that the tips I've given you will help you, whether you're sewing this particular one or any curved Drunkards Path ones. Those are all my tips on how to do that and what to do with it. So happy sewing. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. That really helps us. You'll know whenever we put any videos out, new videos, and you can go into the notifications. That's the bell. Just click on the bell, and you can change those notifications to all, or, you know, random or whatever. But we hope you choose all, and that you'll follow us on YouTube. And I had links below for this kit and for the things that I've used here today. Thanks so much. Have a great day.